good thing.
Hey, Aliens Invade TV, up next on Geek SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yes, we are.
And Colleen's back.
Yay, it's me. I'm back. I tried to watch y'all last week, but I was like driving to Amarillo. So I had the GPS on my phone and I had my mom's phone up.
And we had this whole ordeal where Spectrum just kept...
So I thought it was me.
It went on us twice.
Y'all were dropping. I thought, and then I was like,
we were dropping.
I can't hear them. I couldn't hear. But then I saw other people in the chat saying that they couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, so it's technology struggle bus. That's like the theme of our show.
Apparently, it's fixed now. Apparently, there was a big old problem in the hub in our backyard.
It's all the gremlins.
It's all the gremlins that got it. It's all the aliens that got
all
to it.
All the aliens came and sabotaged our
Yeah.
technology. They've been sabotaging our technology since we started.
The people to know the truth.
Oh, is that it? They
Yeah.
don't want them to know the truth. And what is the truth?
Well,
that aliens are
if
real.
the aliens are real. If you watch the show, you know that I'm big into aliens. Super big into aliens.
Super
so
huge.
I have like...
You don't even know how much Ancient Aliens we've watched.
All the ancient aliens.
All of them.
All of the
every
Ancient Aliens.
bit of them.
Every time we're somewhere, he's like, well, you know, aliens invented that tech. Aliens helped us invent that technology. Aliens furthered us so that we invented that technology.
We
all
wouldn't
about
be here if
aliens.
it wasn't of the intervention of aliens.
Aliens seeded the planet and therefore evolution. So yeah, it's all aliens all the time. And now there's all these sightings and they've opened up all of these closed reports and all of these military personnel have come in. And don't get me
But
wrong,
even
I'm a scientist, so I actually believe in the existence of life on other planets. So it's not that I don't, I just like to rip
But
it.
even recent UFO sightings that they've had recently.
I just personally believe that they come to Earth for a different reason than other people believe. I believe that they come because humans are like the locusts of the universe, and so they keep coming to check on us to make sure that we haven't made it too far off our planet to like keep us in check because we're that horrible. And they're like, yeah, let's keep them there.
They come here for field trips and they point to their children. See, this is what happens when you don't listen.
Hey, Steve says, hey guys, happy Friday and happy early 4th.
Yay!
Yeah, happy early 4th of
early
July.
4th
That's
of
another
July.
thing.
Which, by the way,
I didn't know how to
geekify.
geekify. Yeah.
Well,
Go
we
ahead.
could have. We could have geekified July 4th and we could have talked
We were
about
going
all
to
the
try
times.
to geekify it, but...
We could have. I have a whole show planned, but I like this show better. We liked this show better, and sometimes you have to like the show to like really talk about this stuff. But speaking of July the 4th and aliens, we have a tradition every year that we watch Independence Day because you have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to watch Independence Day on Independence Day. And that is, I don't care what anybody says, one of the best movies of all time. Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, aliens, come on. You know, like they go and download the virus into the mothership. Like, come on, it's so good.
It's a great movie if you're from the United States and you get it. If you're from anywhere else in the world, you go, what? What are they talking about? Why are they talking about an Earth independence? No, we don't get it.
Y'all don't get it. I love it. I think it's great.
I was here when it first came out, and yes, there was whooping and hollering, and yes, all that in the aisles when they blew up the ship and stuff. I was like, what's going on here?
But he makes his speech, like, right before they're supposed to take off.
Yes. And just Jeff Goldblum being so Jeff Goldblum, right? He's just so dry throughout the whole thing, and he's just like, I don't know. I love that movie. And
Yeah, Thomas says, we'll be the Space Orcs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And this country has really struggled, and we always have, but we struggled a lot recently. So I grew up in an era where, you know, we were going to space and we were trying new things, and we had a certain, I don't know, we had a certain level of, I guess, respect for our country, which we would say something against it or whatever, but that's kind of all changed. So I kind of like, I like July
because
the
we
4th.
grew up when we saw the space shuttle explode.
Yeah, they brought the TV in and traumatized all of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, we got to watch that, you know, and I was very excited. I had actually wanted to be an astronaut, and when I was in the 5th grade, I had a misogynist teacher, and he was like, well, you're a girl, you can never be an
Before we
astronaut.
get to that,
So,
Steve says it wasn't a movie, it was a documentary.
it was a documentary, yay.
And Thomas says, I have to admit I stopped watching it after my first 50th viewings.
Nice. I'm going to keep going, Tom. I'm going to keep going. So I really believed in aliens, and I wanted to be out there. I grew up with Star Trek, right? Mm-hmm. So I grew up with that. We grew up in more of an era of, like, alien comedy. Like, I was in love with Mork and Mindy. Like, really watched a lot of Mork and Mindy, you know, Mork from Mork, Nanu Nanu, and all that stuff. Like, Alf was your buddy from, like, another planet. Coneheads, you know, they were real derpy, but they kind of tried to fit in. So I think I grew up wanting that kind of buddy alien experience. E.T., right? We grow up with E.T., and you know, so you want to have that buddy alien experience, which I think we don't get in TV shows as much anymore. Much more now, doesn't it seem like the aliens are here to just annihilate us?
Oh, sick of us.
They're sick of us.
They've heard all the good dad jokes, and that's it.
Well, let's get technical here.
Okay.
Aliens and alien shows.
Okay.
Supergirl. She's an alien. Superman and Lois. Superman's an alien.
Okay.
A big thing right now that just started is the DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's comedy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go strict comedy, that's definitely
like
comedy.
That's like super Evil Dead B, like camp comedy. Yeah. Yeah, that's super camp comedy.
Well, kind of the stuff we grew up with.
Yeah, it's like larger than life aliens, like morphing and like eating people and eating whole cows and stuff like that. One of the kind of mixtures of that B comedy stuff that it's not necessarily a TV show, but it was a movie, was Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
You know, it was that real B comedy, but then they were all trying to kill us, you know, and wanted to get rid of us. But even I remember like Third Rock from the Sun, when we were growing up. Again, it's more of that comedy. But then, I mean, I like the flip side too, don't get me wrong, because we grew up in the time of V too, which V was more of a successful mini-series than it was a TV series. Like, I remember liking the mini-series, and then when they tried to make it a TV series, they just, I don't know, it just didn't work. The writing didn't work the same or whatever.
Kind of fizzled out,
Yeah, it kind of fizzled. But when we first watched V,
when it
V
first
was
started,
really,
it was
really
awesome.
good. And did you ever watch Alien Nation?
Oh, I love Alien.
I loved Alien Nation.
And that was spun off of a movie, Alien Nation.
Yeah. And that was more of like a buddy cop thing, right?
With
the
James
aliens.
Caan.
Yeah.
And then I also liked that other one that was more recent, Brightburn? No.
Bright. I thought it was just
It was just called Bright, right?
Yeah.
Which was another like buddy cop where the aliens are here but not accepted.
And it was along the same lines as Alienation.
Along the same lines with a little bit of, what is that movie thrown in? Where the aliens are here but they're more insect-like, remember? And they're in that camp. And the guy...
Yeah, District 9.
District 9, yeah. So it was more of that where it speaks to that kind of segregation. So, like, if aliens did come to our planet, you know, we probably wouldn't treat them well. You know, they would be segregated.
Technically, Asgardians are aliens.
Yeah, Asgardians are aliens. Well, and not. Oh no, that's not an alien. That's a genetic hybrid.
So then we have like Loki, but Loki was an adopted Asgardian.
Yeah. Well, really anything that's not
And that's
from
current. What's not from Earth,
right, is an alien. So you could really go into a lot of the superhero realm, and then talk about aliens that are here to protect us versus. You know,
Right.
even if you look at the whole Green Lantern Corps, you're talking about people from all over the place, Guardians of the Galaxy. You're talking from people all over different planets. So we could definitely talk aliens in combination with superhero roles. But when I was thinking
And
of
this
this
is
show,
one
I
of the
was
reasons
thinking
that
more
we
of, like,
decided to talk about this, because there's so much to talk about. I don't even think we can get done in one show.
Yeah, no, there's
All of
too
this,
much that we
yeah.
could talk about. Because then we can talk about the reality TV aspect as well, because really we're supposed to be talking about aliens and invading TV. And so one of the things that really Vincent tends to gravitate towards is I'm talking to the audience. I'm not talking to you. One of the things that Vincent tends to gravitate towards is, no, it's Vincent.
That only you can call me that.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, honey. Is like the ancient aliens. You really like to look at, and in fact that's some of where we want to travel to in the future, is been geared around that television. And I bet you probably even watch YouTube and stuff about that sometimes too, don't you? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit. I mean, you have to go and do your research, because you can see it on TV, and it doesn't really. They can tell you whatever they want on TV.
Right.
And I always want to go and see it for myself. I see all these awesome things that they show on Ancient Aliens, but I want to see it with my own two eyes. And that's one of the things I'm after.
Right. And I think what people forget is scientifically, so I look at it from a scientific perspective, right? And Vince has got the shirt with the alien on it, and we've got alien stuff. He's got his metal alien and everything there, and we think of aliens like this, humanoid. But scientifically speaking, when we're looking on Mars right now for aliens, we're really looking for single-celled organisms. We're looking for bacteria and viruses. That's the kind of living things we're thinking of, scientifically speaking. A lot of people in the scientific community don't think that we're going to find larger organisms on other planets. However, one of the things on Netflix that I've been wanting to watch that we started that we didn't watch was
planets
that
and stars that are out there, the probability is more likely than not.
Well, remember that TV show that we were getting ready to start watching, and we kind of started watching it and we got kind of derailed. I think it's called Different Worlds or Other Worlds or whatever. And remember we saw that where it was like whales, but they kind of fly because of the atmosphere of that planet that they had found. So what was nice about that is somebody has gone out and looked at data on these planets that are out there that we think that are close enough to a sun to have some kind of life. But then they've said, okay, the atmosphere is like this. You know, the nitrogen level is here, the carbon level's here, the oxygen level's here. This is potentially the kind of life forms that could live on that planet.
Right.
So I also want to see shows like that. I would love to see some more shows like that. We started watching that one, and I'd like to finish that one.
Yeah.
Because I would like to see what the capabilities are of different organisms.
Thomas says, one of my absolute favorite series was Dark Skies. It went into a lot about the Majestic Project and Project Blue Book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think we've watched that one yet, have we?
No.
No.
Not yet.
Which
is one of the images I selected for the thumbnail had a little bit to do with that interview that they have of the alien, which they're now saying is an actual alien.
The little gray?
The gray that they're interviewing?
They're saying that's a real alien? I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we get more data about that.
We need to get definitely more data.
What was the name of that show that we liked, that we watched, where the alien kid lived in the St. Louis Ark and did the...
Oh, Defiance.
Defiance, yeah. I really liked that one,
really
too.
Good show. It had Brainy. Wasn't it Brainy? Brainy was...
Yeah. who's in Supergirl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because there's all these different genres of alien TV, right? So you can have your alien comedies. So if we talk about alien comedies, what do you think is your favorite like alien comedy?
For TV shows?
For TV shows, because aliens are invading TV. So what's your favorite alien comedy?
Why Vincent thinks it's easy. Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
Yeah. You've never watched it? We'll have to watch some later.
I was like, I don't think I've ever heard of that. And so that's an alien comedy?
It's a British show.
Oh, okay.
And it has been on for about 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think my favorite one has got to be Alf.
Alf.
Yeah.
And mine is Mork and Mindy. Mine was always Mork and Mindy. It jumped the shark a little bit when what's his name, Jonathan Summers or whatever came in.
But Alf was so funny because he would eat cats.
I mean,
would
Alf,
try to.
Alf was funny. I did
was
really
funny.
like I grew up loving Alf. Alf was funny. And
I'm
guessing
he kind of because it kind of gave you the Harry and the Hendersons vibe with Alf.
I was thinking the same thing. And then I'm wondering if American Dad took some of that and tried to capitalize. I'm not a big fan of American Dad. I know a lot of people like that show, but that alien that kind of lives with them and has that sassy attitude and everything, kind of like Alf.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they tried to take that.
They did.
That,
I'm sure they did.
And turn it into and fix it and tweak it up. So.
Well, the makers are our age.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're
in our age demographic. So they saw Alf. So they would see that, I'm sure that.
And they have been trying to reboot Alf for years.
Have they?
Yeah.
They need someone real sarcastic to do it.
Does anybody remember, and I can't remember, I'm the worst about remembering like the name. I remember the shows and stuff. It was a little girl and she was an alien and she had like a triangle or an orb or something and she could stop time.
Talk to a dad out of this world.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Her dad was Burt Reynolds, who was not credited in the show.
Oh, really? But he was the voice through the orb or whatever.
Yeah.
I loved that show when I was little. Yes, good, Stuart. Yes, I loved that show. Stuart for the win. I had forgotten all about that, and then we're talking about this, and it kind of rekindles my memory.
Yeah, no, that was a good show. It actually ran for 3 or 4 seasons. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, and it was on at a time where I was close to the age of that girl, so I was like, that would be so cool if your dad was an alien.
Talking like that, they also had a Starman series as well, where Starman came back and the kid had actually grown.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that only lasted for, I think, a year or so.
Or so, yeah, something like that. So
back in, early 2000s, we get Roswell.
Right, so that was my dad's jam, and apparently that was your jam.
That was
too.
my jam too.
So
yeah. So I would watch that religiously. It was like one of the best things.
I remember my dad. I mean, I guess I do remember you because we were married by then. We were married in 1999. I just remember my dad just being enthralled with that show.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
But X-Files, y'all really liked X-Files too.
We did like X-Files.
You and Dad watched X-Files a lot too.
And I do not understand why they did not reboot it with the 2 new FBI agents in the last series.
That's what they looked like they were going to do.
They were gonna
what the hell? That would have been good.
That would have been good. Now talk about a good alien series that could have gone on infinitely probably if they would have just, again, bring some new agents, right? Just vamp it up. Because there's so many.
I had like the hugest crush on Gillian Anderson.
I mean, duh, who didn't? Like, who didn't? Like, a lot of people did. That was kind of she was the one during that time period that people were really crushing on. But that show was so well written, and it was so like, enough twists and turns and enough suspense and enough of that good relationship between Mulder and Scully that you kind of got.
And it was enough of that disproving and enough of that questioning that kept you watching every week.
Right.
I was like, even though it was like disproving stuff, you were like still enthralled with it.
Right, and you're like, you disproved it, but did you really disprove it? Like, because I still don't quite believe
because there was always a minute question.
Right. So that was one of the, like, I think one of the really all-time, and that was what I was going to ask you next, and I guess that's your answer, is one of the all-time, like, really, really good alien shows. I think for me, because I grew up with Star Trek, and there have been so many iterations of Star Trek, and some that I need to even go and watch, because I never watched, like, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, so, and I would like to go back and get Paramount or CBS All Access or something and watch the new Discovery, because I was really liking that when we watched the first season, and they're like into the third season now, I think.
Yeah.
And whoever put quirk in the chat for comedy, which is about a space garbage man.
A space garbage man.
and he has two co-captains called the Betties, and one's a clone of the other, but they always fight over who's the real one. And he's in love with a Betty, but he doesn't know which one. And they're both identical. It's a
sounds funny.
It's a 70s one. There's some great costuming and stuff in it.
That sounds awesome. That's like hilarious. Oh, now we'll have to go back and watch that too.
So I'm old enough to remember these things. So.
It's so funny though when you go back and watch some of these things, and like in your head, because you were a kid, they're like super great. And then you go back and watch, because I love Star Trek, but sometimes I'll try to go back and watch some of those older episodes, you know, with Kirk and Spock, and I'm like, oh man, this acting is so bad. These fight scenes are really awful. But there was just something about the dynamic between them, and for me it was like all the different cultures that they got to meet, and that they tried to like fit into them, and they were trying not to change them, and then of course inadvertently they would do something. Like, I don't know, you know, it's the same tropey stuff week after week, but it's just like so much fun. And, you know, the Tribbles, like, that's, you know, gotta be, like, one of the all-time favorite. I actually have a Tribble here. Yeah, and I remember watching that, like, late at night with my mom, and just getting to go to all of these different worlds. And I think that's what's great about Aliens on TV, is you get to go to another world, or with comedies, you get to see our world and the ridiculousness of our world.
Haven't we been seeing a lot more influx of aliens, like, recently?
Like in the news media and stuff like that?
But even just, like, shows. Because,
Do
like
you
I
think
said,
there's more shows? I feel like
think
that's
so.
always been a thing.
I don't think it's always been a thing. I think it kicked into high gear in the 70s.
In the 70s, for
when
sure.
we did space. When we were in
Right, because we're trying to
and
go
then
to
it kind of it's trailed off a little bit, but maybe it's
starting to pick up again.
You think so?
Either that, or we're just done with superheroes for a while. We need something different.
Maybe you and I, or us, we're a little more hyper aware, because that's one of our genres, right?
Yeah.
I think all geeks kind of have a certain genre that they're more into. So maybe we're just more hyper aware of.
Because we have that, and then we have, because we talked about Roswell before. Well, they started making another one is kind of like after high school,
right?
Which is Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying that one.
They kind of have some of the same stuff, but they went on like a different track a little bit.
Right.
But I'm liking that, and that's coming back in like a few weeks or something here.
And it's so funny that you and my dad like that, because for me, when I first started watching Roswell, it's more like an alien soap opera, kind of. So I think it's kind of funny that you guys like that one, because it's not, you know, it is more of like, to me sometimes it's very alien soap opera-esque. So it's just like, it's not the same as like when we were watching Defiance. I think I tend to lean more towards those, like exploring new alien cultures and having like several alien cultures being intertwined versus just, or like in X-Files where they're seeking this different alien thing or this different alien thing. I think that's kind of the model that I like more for an alien show, which is why I liked Bright so much, because then we're getting to experience how aliens would have to experience our world if they came here, which I think I like Third Rock from the Sun for the same reason. It's like how aliens have to experience our world, and like some of the ridiculous stuff.
they're experiencing in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, but they're not as confused by everything. Like I kind of more like aliens.
But they've been here for a while.
Right.
They have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, they didn't, because they were children. They were little kid aliens when everything started. Now that we found out in this new part of the series that they're like what happened to their moms and everything and stuff like that. So, what do you think about so Stuart, you were saying that they've been talking a long time about redoing ALF. What do you think about them redoing some of these shows and kind of bringing some of this back? I mean, should they just try to invent new things, try to use kind of that formula and just invent a new thing, or should they, reimagine ALF?
I think they're at a point where the people that watch that stuff are the people that have the money. So they're going to direct that towards us.
So you think they're going to go more towards like mastering stuff that we watched before?
Well, again, they do recycle things quite often. It's like the one that I'm sure you guys don't realize, the Tomorrow People. Have you ever seen that show? That's a recycle of a 70s kids show. Oh, really? Yeah. Because when it came on, I was like, oh, okay. I like the 70s kids show because it was sci-fi and alien invasions and that kind of thing. Because I guess I grew up, again, in a different area of the world, so I get to watch different things. So for me, it was more Doctor Who. Right. Because Doctor Who was big, and of course, some of the...
Well, in Doctor Who, they kind of go to like other planets and other dimensions and stuff. So even Doctor Who, I was going to ask that in a minute. Did we really consider Doctor Who to kind of be an alien show, or...
Yeah.
It's kind of its own... Because some people consider Fringe to be an alien show, but that was more of like an alternate dimension kind of thing, less of an alien type thing, in my opinion. So...
But then if you look in the grand scheme of things, is where are the aliens coming from? Are they coming from different dimensions? Are they coming from the future?
I think to be an alien...
Are aliens like what we become in the future, hundreds of years from now, coming back to try to help us to fix things before it gets really bad?
I don't know. I think when I think of alien, I think of like they're from another solar system, they're from another universe, they're from somewhere out here in this current time period in the galaxies, somewhere. So
time is relative, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then we could throw a bunch of soup into the mix if we're talking about all that stuff. But I think for me, it's about just those other planets and things like that. Because then really, if you're talking about even that kind of stuff, we just finished watching Sweet Tooth on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's about kids that have been genetically engineered, but they're genetically engineered with a single-celled organism that they believe is from another planet that they found here on Earth. So again, and they make a virus out of this single-celled organism. So that's like scientifically, that's the kind of alien that we're talking about. So technically even Sweet Tooth could be an alien movie, right?
Right.
Or TV show. It just depends on where are you going to draw the line. Where are we drawing the line with what is an alien and what's not an alien when we're talking about aliens on TV? I was trying to think if there was anything current that was like Netflix derived that we had watched. I think when I think of aliens, I think a lot of like stuff from our childhood or from when we were younger, or like the X-Files and Roswell when we were like in our early 20s and stuff. I was trying to think if there was anything like really current that I can remember even seeing on Netflix. There's some, like Tom was saying, Dark Skies.
Dark Skies. The only one that I can think of is Lost in Space. Lost in Space is really good.
Lost in Space,
that one is really good.
Really good.
I had forgotten about that. That's a really good one, and that's a remake of something that we used to watch back in the day.
But instead of going campy, they've gone scientific-y.
Yeah, so and I really, really liked that because some people had told me, because I used to watch, now that I think about that, now that you brought up Lost in Space, another one that I used to watch all the time that I loved was Battlestar Galactica. And they did a remake of that I never did watch.
That is also really good.
Really good. Yeah. Okay. I had heard that was really good, and I wanted to go watch it, and we never got into it, and I figured maybe we could just binge it sometime. Not supposed to do that, honey. Yeah. Don't do that to me. Sorry. We've been helping my mom a lot at her house, so we're exhausted.
So Steve says it's like an old Trek versus a new Trek. Some will always complain so long as they do it with the spirit of the original show.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Steve. You know, if it's somebody who enjoyed the show and they're trying to go and kind of, you know, redo it and show it, and
I just thought of a new one that you will like that I haven't watched, but I've seen ads for it. It's called Resident Alien.
Oh, yes, I want to see that one too. That one too. Oh, which, duh, it has the actor who's from Firefly, right? That's technically like an alien show too, if you think about it, because they're all out there in space and they're like meeting all these different things and stuff.
If you like Ancient Aliens, Vincent, why don't you just comment on how much you like Stargate?
Oh, I love Stargate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I heard there was going to be like another spin-off of it.
Possibly.
Yeah, I heard there was going to be another one coming. So,
but yeah, no. From
I forgot about Resident Alien.
From
the
movie
totally.
to the shows, I like Stargate a lot.
Yeah.
Used to watch that religiously.
That's another good one though too. It was a good one.
Now you're gonna have to go back and binge watch that.
I know. I'm like, now that we started talking about it, I was like, I could.
How can you go wrong with MacGyver in space?
For real. Like, how do you? But I think, you know, come to think of it, like the more we talk about this, and the more we're talking about this on the show, like this tends to be one of the genres that we lean towards.
Oh yeah, and they're also also thinking of doing a Galaxy Quest TV show. They're getting very close.
That would be funny. I would totally watch that. That movie was great too.
That would be hard to do without what's his name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. He was so good.
And I'm
because I could do without what's his name.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was what they tried to do with Orville. Was something kind of like Star Trek-y,
I couldn't
Galaxy
get into
Quest-ish,
Orville.
and I could never watch it. People said it was great, and I hated it. I thought it was awful. I hated it. So maybe we'll have to give it another chance. Try it again.
He was like forcing the funny on there.
That's what it seemed like to me. Like it was too forced.
It didn't need to be forced.
Yeah.
If they just did it as a show without trying to force the comedy, just let the comedy happen. When it happens.
Because he can be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
and he can do it dry without making it stupid.
Well, and that's what I heard in the second season was he went a little more dry in the second season and tried to force the jokes a lot less and kind of let it be more like Star Trek and less on the comedy side.
Yeah.
And so I heard he balanced it out. So I would probably go back and watch it just out of curiosity to see if that ended up balancing out well or not.
Some say the Orville was a better Star Trek than Star Trek itself.
Ooh. Oof. No. Sorry. I'll never believe
than the
that.
original? I don't know.
No. No. I mean, the original just broke so many.
Better actors than William Shatner.
Yeah.
Well, but
This whiteboard is a better actor than William Shatner.
no, because
He
good.
he was not a good actor. He was good in
Boston Legal.
Yeah.
He was good as Kirk. I'm sorry. He played that part well. I'm sorry, but he did.
overacted that part.
I know, but that's what made it great. He was so like, I'm the captain. This is just all this stuff is happening. It's so big and amazing and wonderful.
You're just acting better than him right now.
I don't know. I just loved it. I loved him, and I loved that he balanced so well between him and Spock. There was, I think that was supposed to be some of the balance, and then you have Bones, and so I think that there was a balance. I think that was the point, right?
I think they got it better in the new movies.
Maybe.
That dynamic.
Maybe. I liked all the movies too, so I can't say.
Yeah, the
anything.
movies are great.
But I liked Next Generation. I think Next Generation was my Star Trek. You know, that was the Star Trek that I related to and I enjoyed. I watched the original with my parents, and that's how I got started. And I did watch Next Generation with my parents as well, but that was really, for me, my Star Trek.
Outcharge. I just gotta call it like it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm always going to go back to that. That's going to be my alien show, definitely is Star Trek. And then I think Mork and Mindy, that's going to be my other alien show. And then I would have to say Out of This World now that Stuart reminded me of what the name of it is. That one was one of mine.
Yeah, you realize that you're now also going to have to watch A Small Wonder.
I love A Small Wonder. Are you kidding? I love that show, but she's not an alien. She's a robot girl. Love that show.
And you're missing the ultimate one, which is probably the most important one.
What's the most important one?
Transformers. They're aliens.
That's true. They are.
No, it was Benji, Zark, and the Space Prince. Where Benji goes to space.
Benji goes to space. Everybody's got to go to space. We've already talked about this, Stuart. That is what you have to do in your franchise to make your franchise viable. You have to go to space.
That's usually where you go just before your franchise dies.
Well, and I thought they were going to turn Alien.
Like Jason and Freddy in space.
Aliens
They're doing
to a TV show.
They're working on it right now.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see that because that
Yeah.
I would definitely
Yes.
watch that too.
No, nothing better than everybody that's sitting at their little desk thinking about sending people into space suddenly being invaded by aliens. That'd be awesome.
Not just aliens, but AVP.
That's
Show.
I
They
would
should make
totally.
AVPs
I
now.
would totally. I love
No.
Predators
Yes.
too. Those are
That
some
would
good
be
aliens, but those are
awesome.
movies. Those are alien movies, so we can't even get started on all that.
Ruin that by putting too many humans in it.
Too many humans. That's what happened with Godzilla and King Kong too. Too many humans. We just don't need.
Yeah,
the
that's how I
humans
said. I
sometimes.
really thought that Shatner was uneven as an actor. He was amazing in some episodes. He was good in some episodes, but he way overacted some stuff.
And I really think that we need the Coneheads or something like that. Some goofy, derpy
Coneheads.
aliens that come to Earth and are just stupid. You know, that was so funny. I need that. I just need a little like this
But
year.
we're
has
getting
been,
that
like,
on
rough.
DC's Legends tomorrow. We're getting some of that.
Yeah, we're getting some of that.
Yeah.
Some of that's really funny. So.
Because we weren't dealing with aliens until
Right,
this
until now,
season.
and now Gary's an alien, and the girl
Mm-hmm.
who feels and hears the alien stuff, they added her in and stuff. So we are definitely with Legends of Tomorrow getting a lot of alien stuff. So I'm hoping, Vince, that you're getting your fill of aliens invading TV.
Give it.
Now that we
give it.
After we've gone to dinner, it's Ancient Aliens.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're gonna be all aliened out. No,
You know
but I
the
do want to
reason
see.
that we have hamburger is no. I'm just kidding.
Dude.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No, and I think we're getting more and more. We're getting more and more ancient alien type of shows, like on Netflix and
Yeah,
Amazon.
I think so. I think we're gonna
So
start
we're
getting
a
more
lot
and
more
Yeah,
and more.
You know why? Because they're cheap to produce,
Right.
and people like you suck them up.
Love it.
Well, you know, and Elon Musk and everybody is bringing that kind of let's go out into space more to the forefront
Yeah.
of people's minds, and they're talking about letting us have vacations to the moon and stuff. So I think the more we start talking about that, the more that's going to be in the forefront of what we're seeing. And then we'll get zombies in space and vampires in space, and you know, just throw it all in
Been
there.
done.
It's been done.
It's all been done.
I know.
Awesome. Well, That was it. That was.
We could keep
Aliens
going,
Invade-
but we should
can be
stop
going.
while our producer's telling us
This
to
is
shut
part
up.
1. We'll probably do a part 2 sometime in the future.
Part 13 in space.
In space.
That's awesome.
We need to all have green screens and just all be in space.
Yeah.
We have to at some point. We can do it too. I think we have enough stuff here. We could do it.
Cool. But thank you very much for checking us out. If you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so the next time we go live, you'll know. Thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart.
Geek out, SA.
We'll be right back.